In this video, we're going to be showing you the Boxing Science pre-fight warm-up. Hello everybody, welcome to Boxing Science. In this video, we're going to be sharing with you the Boxing Science pre-fight warm-up. Now, this is something that we've posted quite often on Instagram. Every time we post a video on this, it does massive amounts of likes, views, and a huge amount of comments. We're receiving questions on how many reps, what exercises to use, why we use it, people questioning whether this is a little bit too fatiguing. In this video, we're going to be explaining a little bit more about the Boxing Science pre-fight warm-up, the exercises that we use, and a few little tips on how to implement this during a pre-fight. So why do a mobility warm-up before a fight? We're wanting to prepare the body the best way possible before going into technical pads. Before going into a bout, you've only got a very limited time on the pads because you don't want to be doing too much. So you've got anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes to get that speed, technique and timing on point before you step through them ropes. So you need to physically prepare your body the best way possible to make the most and then pads. Also, this is really important for injury prevention perspective, potentiation to make sure that the muscles are fired up to increase speed and power into the pad routine, then can transfer into a more explosive performance. So this warm-up consists of a range of different exercises: rotational mobility, shoulder mobility, glute strength, and hip mobility. All the floor exercises are anywhere between 8 and 10 repetitions. On unilateral exercises, this will be 8 reps each side. We're also looking to only do 1 set of each exercise. And then we go on to Spider-Man to twist. This is around about 5 reps on each side on this one. And then we go on to our foundational movements: squat and press, lunge and rotate, and lateral lunge and press. And these are around about 5 to 8 reps on each side depending on the athlete. And then we move on to our plyometrics. We're primarily looking to potentiate short ground contact times and also power up lateral movement and speed. So we do pogos paired with ice skaters. So on the pogos, we actually do partner assisted. The athlete is pushing up against the coach to get higher off the floor. And what this does is initiates shorter ground contact times and higher jumps, whilst also reducing the eccentric loading during the downward phase. So we're potentiating as much as we can without fatiguing the athlete with eccentric loading. We perform 10 reps of the pogos and 5 reps each side of the ice skaters. We often pair this up with some sort of rotational exercise, whether this is a half kneeling windmill and rotate, or a seated rotation with partner assistance. Just spending a little bit extra time on improving rotational function. Of course, rotational function and power is so important to the punching action. So we need to make sure that we're nice and loose through rotation so our athletes are rotating powerfully and flowing through the shots nicely. We perform 3 sets of these plyometrics before moving on to the banded side walks. This is to fire up the glutes and the glute medius before going into the banded shadow box. The banded shadow box is a useful tool to fire up that lower body through punch specific action. This is really important to make sure that our hips are flowing and activated to transfer force from foot all the way through to the fist. We then do punch iso holds. This is to improve the snap at the end range of the punch and to get them tendons fired up through punch specific action. Straight arm shots, hooks and uppercuts. We perform this for around about 3 seconds and then we'll have a rest. Perform this sequence 3 times. We'll go back to the sidewalks, do the banded shadow box and then do the punch iso holds. After that, it's over to the coach to do the pad routine. So a few tips on how to optimize the pre-fight warm-up. First things first is to make sure that you're on point with your coaching. Make sure you're coaching the athlete through the routine very precisely without giving them information overload. This will help a few things. 1, building up their confidence. We don't want them to be getting things wrong or correcting them too much. We don't want them to really be thinking, all right, what's next? So the amount of times that an athlete has kind of looked at me after doing an exercise and thinking what's next, they've got so many thoughts going off in their head. We're wanting to make this in such an automated process to make it flow nicely into the pad routine. So make sure that you're coaching the routine no matter how many times that athlete has done that specific warm-up. This will also help your time management as well, to make sure that you're moving an athlete swiftly on, because sometimes you're really restricted on time. Sometimes I've only done this mobility warm-up over 5 minutes. It means that I have to drop a few exercises here and there, but it's something that I've had to do because we have to prioritize the pads before they go into the ring. I try and limit that warm-up to 10 minutes to make sure that they get enough time on the pads and to take in instruction from their coach. Another thing is to make sure that you try and get enough space. I've been very fortunate to have done this at some of the biggest arenas in the country, but also done this at a working men's club where I'm very limited on space. Taking the time to see whether there's another room, another space, whether we can move a few tables and chairs about to make sure that an athlete is getting enough room. And then generally just making sure that your coaching is full of positivity, giving them compliments on the movement, how explosive they are, how they're fired up and ready to go, how strong they feel in the punch iso holds, because this can give them confidence going into the fight. So them are tips on how to warm up an athlete for a fight. It's a very exciting part of the job, the adrenaline, the excitement going into a fight. You know, this is why I love my job at Boxing Science as much as I do. It's almost like you've taken that athlete on a journey from the very start of training camp where they're overweight and under-conditioned. You're getting them fitter, faster and stronger over a 10 or 12 week period. And then you're there right at the final stage to fine-tune, to get them physically prepared, ready for their pre-fight routine before they step through the ropes and hopefully put on an explosive performance. So thank you very much for watching. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. And if you've got any questions about anything that we've mentioned, fire them in the comment box below. Hopefully see you on the next video of Boxing Science.